Hello everyone, it's Laura Brazil of Mind Over Muscle, and today I want to give you a an actual exercise to help strengthen your inner thighs. And I'm going to show it to you three different ways, add on 3 layers to it to make it progressively more difficult. All right, so you're going to lay on your back. I recommend putting something under your head or shoulders if you need it to make sure that your rib cage isn't pushing up into your hands and toward the ceiling. So I'm here. We're going to do an inner thigh leg lift. You're going to bend one, and you can do this on your bed too if you don't feel comfortable on the floor. But you can bend your one knee and that other foot's flat on the floor. And we're just first going to start off lifting the leg. I only want you to go as high as this bent knee. So we're just lifting the leg, do that a few times, and then switch sides. So I have one knee bent with the foot flat on the floor, and my other leg is lifting. Again, my maximum height is that bent knee. See how that feels. All right. What I'm going to have you do now to really access the inner thigh is you might notice your kneecap here. I want you to take your leg and have your kneecap rotate to the outside. So as you're down on the ground, the kneecap rotates to the outside. Your foot will kind of flop out to the side like you're duck-footed. But this puts the inner thigh more pointed up toward the ceiling. So go work from here. So this is our first layer. So now the inner thigh, instead of being on the inner thigh, it's more on the front of your leg. A couple of those. Notice how that changed the exercise. We're doing a lot of leg lifts here in a short period of time, but I switched legs. I externally rotated at the hip, so my knee kind of points off to the side, which my foot kind of looks duck-footed here. Again, our maximum height is that other knee, but you can go lower too. That's just the maximum. So you can, if your foot doesn't come up very high, that's fine as well. Let's go back to the first side again. So we did our first layer, which was rotating the inner thigh more toward the front of the leg. We're going to stay with that. And now we're going to keep that external rotation of the hip and slide your inner thigh towards your foot that's on the floor. So now we're squeezing a little bit with that inner thigh and then lifting. So the inner thigh is kind of tracing along this bent leg. So now we've rotated the hip so the inner thigh is more toward the front. We've squeezed the inner thigh in toward the other leg. So this is our second layer. All right, switch sides. Externally rotate the hip. Squeeze your straight leg towards your bent leg and then lift. So again, like I said, we're gradually getting harder here. So you can always go back to an earlier version that you felt more comfortable with. We're also doing a lot of these in a row. Let's go back to the first side for our third and final layer. So we straighten out the leg. So we're all on our setup. We externally rotate at the hip, getting a little duck-footed, knee pointed out to the side. We squeeze the leg in, and now I want you to try pretend like this foot is going to float your non-straight leg, so the bent leg. I want you to not push into the floor with that leg. So lift the leg. Someone wanted to see me. So we're not pushing into the ground with this leg. So now we've externally rotated. We're squeezing in with that straight leg, and we're not pushing to the ground with this leg. It's a lot of work. And switch sides. So we set up, externally rotate the straight leg, squeeze the straight leg in toward the bent leg, and then try not to push into the floor. So a lot of times we'll kind of push in that floor for a little extra support. Can you pretend like that non-lifting leg is hovering over the floor? And up and down. Ooh, so much more difficult. So we're having to engage our core a lot more. We're having to engage our inner leg a lot more in order to lift the leg up. All right, so those are 3 layers of to the inner thigh leg lift that you can add on. You can always start, if you come back to this later, you might need to take a break for your inner thighs now, but if you come back to it later, maybe you start with that hardest version before you're really fatigued. I'd love to know how this feels for the inner thighs and which layer really upped the ante for you. Hope you have a great day.